Well, hello and welcome to the Studio YouTube channel. My name's Jane, and today I am going to be talking about something that I've been looking forward to for months. Last weekend, I went down to London to visit my daughters and also to go and see the new V&A Storehouse, which has been made on what used to be the Olympic Park in London. Now, the V&A Storehouse is connected to the V&A Museum. V&A Museum is sort of like a big decorative arts museum in London. It was put together in the 19th century, and it has the most amazing collection. But of course, in museums, often you only see a tiny, tiny, tiny part of the collection. And to address that, the V&A decided that they would create a new storehouse in what used to be the Olympic Park and open it to the public. So, Sunday afternoon, my younger daughter and I went off to see it. And oh my goodness, it was worth the trip. So first of all, it is this amazing store building. You can wander around it and displays have been put up and it's just astonishing. But, and this is the bit that you can almost hardly believe that you're able to do it. Beforehand, I could go onto the V&A's website, look through their online catalogue of wonderful things, like being in a sweet shop, and choose 5 to actually go along and look at and handle in the archive. So I went online, I looked through the collection, and I chose my 5 objects. Now the first 4 are really old embroidered bags. In the studio, in our kind of threaded project, what we're doing is we're making a bag that is kind of related to an Irish traveller's folk tale. The bags in that they're described as pouches hung from the waist. They are beaded, they are embroidered, they are hung with coins. And I wanted to just get some visual inspiration that would take us back in time and give us something to look at. So I chose 4 bags from the collection from the 8th century up to the mid-16th century. And I went and I looked at them and I took lots of photos and videos, and you could handle them and look inside. It was fantastic. And I will be discussing all of those, showing all the photos inside the studio next week, if you remember. The 5th thing, however, that I chose was a really old embroidered nightshirt. Now I chose that not for the quality of the embroidery or because I'm particularly interested in nightshirts, but that I wanted to see something that had been used, had been worn. Because often in museum collections, what you get is the thing that was ceremonial or saved for best. Very elaborate, kept nicely, stored properly, handed down because it was kind of culturally important to the people. And that's the kind of thing that ends up in museums. It's much more unusual to be able to see things that have been worn and used and worn out and patched and so on. In its basics, it's very, very simple. It's sort of wide bits of fabric held together, gathered, a T-shape with gussets for the underarms. But it had been used. And if you've watched any of these videos before, you know how much I love things that have been used. So looking at it, you could see that the cuffs, these embroidered cuffs, had obviously become worn on the inside, and they had been patched with new bits of embroidery that were very similar, but not exactly the same as the original ones. And it was both cuffs are patched. And you look at the underarm gussets, they had been patched and then replaced. it had been worn. And there is a hole at the front and there's a bloodstain on one of the arms. And it was just amazing to sit with it and feel that whole kind of connection back through the centuries into this space. But I know not everybody can get to London, though if you can, I would suggest really go to the Storehouse. It's really underused. We were there on a Sunday afternoon, which you would think would be popular, and apart from a French couple who came in to see some boots that had been worn by David Bowie, there was nobody else there. So all the other tables in the archive were just empty. So if you're in London, it's fantastic. Do go and do it. But I wanted to see what happens if I brought back that feeling of the archive into things that I own. Now, a few months ago, I bought from Vinted an exercise book. Now, this is the exercise book here. And this was put together in 1947 at a finishing school. And what it is all of the samples of hems and patches and inserts and gussets and all of this thing that has been put together by somebody who has been learning. And it is just the most interesting thing. Now, Maureen Bushell, I don't know very much about Maureen, but I know that she is still alive, that she has lived a very long and very happy life, that she hated finishing school, and that bizarrely, when you look at this, she was regarded as a very mediocre needlewoman. So I have been spending some time with this book and looking at it really carefully, thinking back to what would life have been like for a young woman, 1947. Thinking about how that was a period when there was clothing rationing. In fact, clothing rationing had ramped up in 1947. So all of the skills that were being learnt here by, a girl who must have come from a fairly prosperous family to be going to finishing school, she would have needed, so that she could make and mend and alter the clothes, make them last much longer. So that is what I have been going through. And my invitation to you this week is to find something that you have. It might be something that you have been handed down, one of the embroideries from grandparents or quilts or whatever. Or it might have been something that you've bought. Or it might even be something that you made so long ago, it's almost as though it was made by a different person. And I want you to take the time to really, really look at it. When I was studying art history at university, in the first year, one of the exercises that we were sent to do was to go to local art gallery, to choose a picture and to sit with it for a few hours. And it sounds very simple, but it was incredibly difficult because, of course, as soon as you've chosen your picture and you've started to look at it, you think, I should have chosen a different picture. This one's really boring. How am I going to spend my hours watching this? Or you're cold, or you're hungry, or you're thirsty, or you need the loo, or whatever. And it's only after you've managed to quell that and keep looking that the art begins to reveal itself to you. So I want you to kind of almost, not for hours, but with focus, to just look at something handmade, something where you can see the hand and the mood and the personality of the maker, and to track down those unfinished stitches or the things that went wrong and were corrected. Just to sense the mood and the meaning and the magic in handmade work. So if you are interested in this kind of thing, you would be really, really welcome in the studio. Put all of the details underneath here. There are supported places available. And otherwise, until next Friday, bye-bye.